Pikes Peak again this week, and today I'm bringing you the 6 things I like the leasterest about the Pikes Peak. So last week I did a video on the things I like the mosterest. Today I'm talking about the things I like most leasterest about the Pikes Peak. So the first thing that bugs me, and it actually does bug me a lot, and it certainly did not bug me on the V4S, is the on-off nature of the throttle, particularly in sports and race mode. When you are transitioning between off-throttle and on, or off-throttle and off-throttle, you know what I mean, on and off-throttle, and I've just missed my turn-off. Just excuse me while I turn around. Okay, back on track. Yeah, so look, when you're transitioning from on to off throttle on this bike, it's quite jarring. Once you get used to it and you are ready for it, you can mitigate it manually just by being smoother with your right hand, basically. But if you just ride this like you ride any other bike, just throttle on when you want, throttle off, and you get this. It's almost like there's some kind of slack in the drivetrain somewhere. And it's like, quite clunky. And when Mazar got on it for the first time, that's what he said. He's like, man, what is that? What's with this sort of... Well, yeah, it's like really jerky. And it's not I don't think it's an electronics issue. I don't think it's actually a throttle issue. I think it's a drivetrain issue of some sort. I'm not an expert, but it's quite off-putting. Yeah, I mean, if... This bike could go close to the perfect bike if it didn't have that, but it is something to know. Now I don't know if it's just my version of the bike, or if other owners know what I'm talking about. And of course, as you go down in power, so as you reduce the power by going into urban mode, rain mode, whatever, the impact of that actually reduces. So it must be partly electronic, I suppose, but it does reduce, which is great. But I ride in sports or race mode all the time, and it's a thing on this bike. I've only ridden this particular Pikes Peak, but I'd be interested to know if other people have the same issue. Certainly didn't have the issue on the V4S at all, or any other bike that I've got in my portfolio, but it is noticeable. So that's the first thing I like the leasterest. Actually, it's the thing I like the leasterest about this bike. The next thing I like the leasterest about this bike is a stupid screen. Looks good, really like the look of it, but it is useless. I'm telling you, it is absolutely like a fly screen door on a submarine. That's how effective it is. It is like a waterproof tea bag, people. It is useless. What it does, above about 70 k's an hour, it just creates this crap buffeting that just bangs your head. It's so bad. So you're better off then putting it down, right? It's okay at, urban road speeds. The moment you get into highway speeds, no good. Absolutely useless. So I will, at some point, if I was going a long tour on this, there's no way I'd take it with this windscreen. You'd need a touring windscreen. It's absolutely pathetic. But it looks hot. Looks hot, babies. It's like a trophy windscreen, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's the second thing that I like the leasterest. It's crapola. The next thing I like the leasterest about this bike is, look, it's got good range. Like I can get 300 k's plus out of a tank, which around town beats anything else I've got in my portfolio, because it's got a big tank, right? But if you're doing a tour, you're doing a long tour, the fuel economy on this ain't that good. She's a thirsty girl. Fine for around town. But on big trips, you're going to be stopping more often on this than you will on a GS or even the V4S, I reckon. Well, what are you doing, mate? Bloody hell. So that is something to bear in mind. She's a thirsty girl. Okay, the next thing I like the leasterest is just when you're doing this sort of stuff, really low speed maneuvering, you've got to be on, man. You've got to have your wits about you, because there's something about the weight profile of this bike that once she starts leaning over, man, it leans fast. It's that twitchiness coming into play, this time at low speed. And so you can, a few times I've done U-turns or low speed maneuvers, and I'm like, oh shit, I nearly lost that. And sometimes you get your feet caught on the foot pedal as that's happening. I reckon just dropping this would be really easy. Now I've put crash bars on, and one of the reasons I did was because I do worry about dropping it, not sort of through, you know, some crazy high speed issue, but just low speed maneuvering in a garage, up a hill, doing U-turns. You got to have your wits about you. 240 kilos, you know, with a weird weight distribution, and once she starts going, pretty quite top heavy. Once she starts going, it's a real handful. And I'm a big strong guy, I can kind of hold the weight, but there have been times where even I've been like, whoa, sheesh, that nearly went. So be careful, low speed maneuvering. Okay, the fifth thing I like the leastest about the Pikes Peak, and this is going to be controversial, okay, because, you know, when Ducati first came out with this sort of TFT setup, it was regarded as, you know, very highly, but things have moved on. I reckon Ducati need an upgrade, an update of their TFT. It's just been outdone by KTM, by Aprilia even, by BMW. Like, it's too kind of, it smells like too much information, it's too cluttered, it's a big screen, but, you know, they haven't got the interactivity that, say, KTM have. KTM's systems are awesome. They've done a wicked job on the 1390R of their TFT and the way it's all set up. The Ducati one's kind of, you still can get in there, you can control everything you need to, but it takes a bit, it's not that intuitive, and it's just a bit kind of last year. I think it's time for an update, Ducati. There you go. There you go. There you are. You've heard it here first from XODAS. You need to update your TFT. Because I said. That's why. Okay, the last thing. Number 6 most least likable feature of the Ducati Pikes Peak is in the really, really tight twisties, like up through the River Road when on my video when I compared this to the Hyper, just through that really shitty tight stuff, it's just too big. And it's just, yeah, just too big. So on the really twisty stuff, as you would expect, it just gets found out. It's a bit heavy, and it just can't quite handle that really uber tight stuff. Anything moderately tight and to free flowing, it's fine. But on the really, really tight stuff, you do miss the lightness and agility of, say, I mean, the Hyper Motard's amazing through there, but even a Super Duke, which is a big bike, you know, through that stuff is just so much better. But that's, you know, I mean, that's to be expected, and I am nitpicking here. I mean, I've got to think really hard to find things I don't like about this. And most of the stuff I've said today on this video, just ignore it, because it's basically like, you know, not even 1%ers, except for the one thing not to ignore is this on-off nature of the bike. It is a bit of an issue. It is a bit of an issue. It takes away from the riding experience. It's the only thing really that does. But overall, very happy with the bike. If you want to know the things I like the most about it, go and check out my top 6 things I like the bestest about the bike. But today I was just feeling a little melancholy, so I thought I'd talk about the things that I didn't like so much. You know, just how it goes sometimes. Gotta be objective, gotta find the things that aren't so perfect too, you know. Is this the perfect bike? Is this the perfect bike? Is the Pikes Peak Multi the perfect bike? No, it's not the perfect bike. Damn close though. Very, very close. I can ride this as a daily rider, I can ride it as a sports bike, and I can ride it as a touring bike. So it's damn close, but there's just those few things that make it not perfect. as I've talked about today. So today's video highlights the reasons why I can't give it the perfect bike status, so it will not have the XODAS number plate adorned on it, I don't think. It's not perfect, but it's damn good, damn fine bike. And if you're thinking about buying one, you're not going to be disappointed. Anyway, that's enough whinging. I don't like these whinging videos. It's not me, really. So that's enough whinger ability from me today. So from XODAS today, see you later. Oh, one other thing I don't like about this bike that I've just remembered, it doesn't come with panniers. You gotta buy them separately. How dumb. How dumb. Now at least it can fit panniers, unlike the RS that can't put a top box on the back. But I love the fact that it can have luggage. I love the fact that it can have a top box, but it doesn't come with panniers. That's dumb. So I have to pay another, what, 1,200 bucks or something to get panniers for the thing. Annoying. Highly annoying, Ducati. Highly annoying.